Hi guys, today we're going to talk about binge eating. I will put a timestamp down below so that you can click straight through to it if you're just here for the binge eating video. And there'll be a bit of a training vlog, a typical Saturday of what I've been doing during lockdown in the new home gym. Please do subscribe to the channel if you like the content and give me a like and a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. This is part of the health and fitness series, and I've got a lot of other videos on the channel that are about feeling healthy and happy mentally and physically. So check those out if you want to see more, and let's get on with the video. Hey guys, so today's video is going to be about binge eating and how I basically stopped binge eating. Most of the tips are going to be based on my own personal experience. If you are struggling with an eating disorder, then you should seek help from a medical professional, but I will give my tips. Obviously I also had an eating disorder, and some of the things I will be sharing are things that they told me to do, but obviously this is just my personal experience on things that helped me overcome it and things that I still use to this day so that I don't go back to those binging behaviours. But first, so before I get to doing that, I am gonna do a little workout in the home gym, and it's changed quite a lot. If you've been watching my videos recently, you'll probably see the background changing loads. I'll just show you around quickly because we've moved a load of the stuff out. We've moved into a new house. We've got quite a lot of stuff and we're just juggling it around until all of the bedrooms are done and everything's painted and everything's in its place. But until then, it does mean we're playing Jenga with a lot of our stuff. So if you watched my previous videos, you would have seen a lot more stuff in this room. We've shrunk it down a little bit now. So that is the new pull-up bar, and we can actually do muscle ups on that because it goes high enough. There's enough room up there for you to get above it, which is cool. We've got a box and some matting. The matting only goes halfway down the gym because it was free. My local gym was getting rid of it and they were just leaving it outside for a while and they didn't know what to do with it, so we were like, we'll take that off your hands if you don't want it, which is really nice of them, but it means we're going to need to get a bit more. And then we've got weights. I've got a barbell, which is really cool, some resistance bands, and then this is the space that we've just cleared out, so we've got a lot more room than we had previously. If you watched any of my other videos, you will see that this area was just full of junk. Now we've got a bit of space to put the dumbbells up. This stuff is going to be moved soon, but it looks a lot tidier now, and we can fit in the air bike, which is awesome. That's from Powerhouse Fitness. Thank you to them for giving me that. It's been so cool for continuing to do CrossFit through lockdown. It's not a assault bike, it's a Taurus ergo bike, but it's pretty similar to an assault bike. It feels exactly the same. Obviously I can't know whether the calories are around the same or not, but I love it. It's really cool. So, and there's the view from this angle. So, and you can see we've got a bit of roofing up here just for storage, but I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. We removed the ceiling part from over there because I'm too tall to be able to do anything overhead in this space because I would just hit this bit so close. But over here where it's been removed, I can now snatch and clean and jerk, which is awesome. I'll show you just above. So that's the little platform, and we do have the little idea of maybe eventually having like a rower up there. I think that could be quite cool. You'd have to climb up to it, but, and also because it's tall enough here, we might put some rings up, maybe get a ring bracket and have it across the middle, and then we could tuck them away when we don't want to use them, and that would allow us to do ring muscle ups in this space. So although it's a really small space, it's actually quite cool. It just works as a little CrossFit gym for now, which is really good, and I'm enjoying training. I'm going to train right now, and then after that we'll get to the main part of the video. But first I have got cleans, so let's go. In the programming that I'm doing at the moment, which is They Built, they're really good. Yeah, it's really good programming, and it got me really fit in the first lockdown, so I just signed back up for it. It's so cool. Every 30 seconds for 4 minutes at 45 kilos, which is a percentage of my 1 rep max, and then every 30 seconds for 4 minutes, 2 power cleans at 63 kilos, which is, I don't know, another percentage. My max is 90 at the moment. It's gonna be savage. I remember it last time, it was pretty savage. Right, it should be fun. Just putting my thumb tape on. Wood and Dan are awesome. They've supported me for several years now. They're lush. But yeah, I literally won't lift without thumb tape because it's just At the moment it keeps my thumbs warm and the barbell's really cold, but it's really good for gripping, and my thumbs just hurt so bad if I don't wear it. So yeah, I'm quickly gonna warm up and then I will do the first part of my workout. And it's so cold in here, it's mad. If you follow me from like back in the day on Instagram before I went on SAS or any of that, you'll know that I probably majority of the time compete and train whilst not wearing a lot. Like, I wear booty shorts and sports bra most of the time and like, so this, massive jumpers, lots of layers, leggings. It's quite unusual for me, but it's just so cold in England at the moment and I'm not warm. But I've put the heater on, so hopefully that'll warm me up a little bit, and no doubt I'll have to take off layers during this workout because I've done a few of these over the last couple of months and they are savage. So I've got 4 reps every 30 seconds and then get to rest for a minute, yay, and then I've got 2 reps at 63. I might as well get on with it because it's not going to get any easier the longer I wait.
I'm in it just to rewrite history, cause I'm in the mood to label us the leaders of the new school. This ain't for the radio, can't find this on YouTube. This the type of killing that these critics ain't used to. Victorious, victorious, victorious. In this day and age, I got time for innovation, time to be creative, time too big to waste on my time on critics hating. Flattered by your opinions, to show you I'll just embrace it. Now watch a early sunrise up, no daylight savings, go nuts when I have to. Glaze bet my sound in this beats on the house that we dreaming. Watch me way back up in the castle, my thoughts are distorted. Cause I recall guys were hating uncommonly, all of them became common denominators. Hold up, try to overlook a rival, all eyes on me cause
That was so much fun. I've got like a minute, so I better change my weights. 63, yeah, 63. 2 reps. I think I prefer the heavy weight though.
Cause sing to it. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely victorious. I'm destined to be victorious. Through all I hate that display, we remain warriors. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely victorious. I'm destined to be victorious. Avoided by the statistics, occasionally we'll quit it. Pay reality visits, but it was too hard to live it. Built up my confidence and delivered. Now I be burning these critics, cause they ain't know they was walking across like burning they bridges. Hold up. Man, whoever thought I'd be rapping? The family ain't never think that can happen. Matter of fact, only person that ever pushed me to get up was my mother, and the only reason was cause sucking tracks. Heard that comments the chick that you put a ring on. And by the looks at your life, guess she's a Klingon. It's on me. Dudes had they lead on the board, but games change over time.
That was quite good fun. Yeah, I like the heavier ones better, obviously, because I'm me. They're just more fun, and also like I prefer more rest. Is anyone with me on that? I just prefer like low reps, heavier weight. It's always been what I enjoy. So yeah, let's have a look what's next. So for time, I don't want to do this. For time, 50 burpees over dumbbell, 50 dumbbell hang, clean and jerk. I like them, they're good. 50 jumping lunges and 50 calories. So I do obviously do the calories on the bike, and that is gonna kill me. And I'll do the burpees over the dumbbell, but I think instead of the jumping lunges, because as we all know, gymnastics is my weakness, I think I'm gonna do some like strict handstand push-up progressions, so probably from the box. I prefer burpees over something because you don't have to stand up, and being a tall person, standing up takes longer than if you're a shorter person. So I generally hate burpees, but yeah, hopefully they won't be too bad. Your calories will be fine. May as well just start. So it is for time, this workout, but I'm just gonna go slow and steady, I think. Well, not slow, but I'll go steady. There's no point in me going really hot out the gate because there's 50 burpees. I'm not great at burpees. My fitness isn't where I want it to be right now, and I'll probably die if I try and do loads. So I'll probably do like sets of 10 with like a small break in between, maybe. Or I'll just see how it goes. And then just work through the rest. I'm not going to worry too much about the time. I'm just going to do it, just get it done.
I was made for this. Yeah, yeah. I was made for this. I was made for this. Face it, greatness is in my genetics. Rely on me, you never regret it. Victory's mine, yeah, that's where I'm headed. For this passion and drive, I'm forever indebted. Known to motivate each person near. I'm sure it's my purpose to persevere. Yeah, you looking at the chosen one. I said you looking at the chosen one. I was made for this. You know that I was made for this. I was made for this. You know that I was made for this. Running great, now I'm showing up. You looking at the chosen one. I was made for this. You know that I was made for this. I've stumbled and failed and got up again. Rising with the hunger for another win. Been too strong for too long, I can't give in. That's the discipline of a champion. Overcome adversity and get it done. Didn't run, stood my ground, then I won. Yeah, you looking at the chosen one. I said you looking at the chosen one. I was made for this. You know that I was made for this. Oh yeah, yeah. I was made for this. You know that I was made for this. Running great, now I'm showing up. You looking at the chosen one. I was made for this. You know that I was made for this. I was made for this. I was made for this. No intermissions till I win a mission. Told them don't try it, but they wouldn't listen. Not too many options for the opposition. Can't blame them, they just wanna be in my position. Effortlessly breaking records while they stare. Ready for wherever, oh so overly prepared. Yeah.
I don't have a good relationship with chippers at the moment. I don't like them. They just take too long and I take too much rest and I don't want to do them. Right, so now I've finished my workout. Sorry it took so long. So I'm going to talk about binge eating and how I basically overcame binge eating. Obviously speak to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, this is just my personal experience and what I've done. Hopefully some of the things that I have done might help other people, and that's why I want to talk about it. It's not a fix all for everybody, but some of these things you might relate to, and some of these might be a cause for your binge eating, especially if your binge eating isn't from an eating disorder. It might just be like really sporadic from like stressful events and various other things. Some of these things might trigger you to binge occasionally. A lot of people think binge eating is purely to do with restriction, but for me it wasn't. I was binge eating way before I'd ever dieted. I had depression for quite a long time and I really struggled with my mental health, and a lot of the reasons why I would eat and drink alcohol were to do with the fact that I was depressed and I was trying to hide from my feelings by using food and using alcohol to try and get away from that. Well, I had a crisis with my mental health and ended up at rock bottom basically. I have other videos on exactly what happened, but yeah, I was at rock bottom and I was told by medical professionals that I needed to sort out my mental health, and one of the things that I could do to do that was to sort out my diet. Once I tried to eat healthier and eat a better diet, I realised that there were places where I was binge eating, and that was mostly because I was feeling emotionally unstable in one way or another. So if something stressful happened in my life, I would binge eat. If something exciting happened in my life, I would binge eat. And I'm not talking like eat a small amount of food or have a chocolate bar. It was, this is like 2 cheesecakes, like the entire bucket of KFC, and I had bulimia as well, so it would go as far as that. Like, it was the whole binge purge cycle. It was a nightmare, but most of the time it was triggered by emotions. So one of the things that I had to do initially was to sort out how I was feeling and learn how to identify when I wasn't great, and that maybe I could do something that was better for me than binge eating when I was feeling emotional, and to learn to sort of investigate those feelings and deal with those feelings rather than trying to run away from them by using something to cope with it, like food. When I started to identify that helped a lot, but there was still some binging behaviours. And because obviously when I started CrossFit and when I started my sort of health journey, I was overweight, I was morbidly obese. I've gone from about 250 pounds to a lot lighter than that, and now obviously I'm an athlete in my sport and I compete quite a lot. I didn't always have a healthy relationship with food. I dieted quite a lot and I used a lot of fad diets to try and obviously lose weight. I've tried keto and paleo and intermittent fasting, which basically involves starving yourself for long periods of time, like hours. I tried the 5-2 diet, which basically involves not eating on 2 days of the week. Terrible decision, don't do that. But a lot of these fad diets started causing me to binge eat because they were triggering this like extreme hunger that I was feeling, and tackling that was one of the first things that I had to do. And again with like keto, if I stopped eating carbs, all I would crave was carbs, and then I'd go on a binge eating carbs. So restricting food groups, restricting calories too far wasn't working for me, so I had to stop restricting basically. I realised that that was a lot of what was causing my binging. So it was emotional and it was also restriction. Even if I wasn't restricting, there was still binge eating because I was emotionally eating to large amounts of excess. A lot of people think binge eating is only triggered by restriction, and that isn't true, especially if you've got a binge eating disorder of some sort. The things that I found really helpful, and I think the answer is probably going to surprise you quite a lot, but obviously because I was on a weight loss journey, I went on a calorie deficit, but it was about having a healthy balanced diet and not about extreme restriction. So you may see in some of my other fat loss videos that I worked out my TDEE and worked out the amount of calories that I needed in a day. That's what total daily energy expenditure stands for. I worked out that, and I would never go below a 500 calorie deficit, because that amount of a deficit encourages you not to binge. You basically don't feel hungry on that. If you eat enough high volume vegetable based and meat based foods, you tend not to feel that hungry on that amount of calories. So for me, I'm quite tall, I'm quite heavy, and my maintenance calories when I'm training really hard can be around 3,000 or around 2,600. So basically I can diet on 2,100 calories, which is quite a lot of food still, and I don't really feel it that much, but I will be losing weight. So you can see how there, although I'm still tracking calories, it is completely different to restricting down to 1,200 calories and then binging every weekend because I literally can't take it. So I made sure that I had a healthy balanced diet, and then I wasn't restricting any kinds of food groups. I recognised I had certain kinds of binge foods. I'll tackle those in a minute, but I made sure that I had a routine. So I made sure there wasn't going to be any point during the day when I would feel like I was starving. So I would make sure I had breakfast, lunch and dinner, at least 3 meals a day, and then I would program in a couple of snacks during the day too, to make sure that I would never be hungry basically. I'd never get to the point where I was so hungry that I just needed to eat loads of food. And that obviously stopped binging, because when you feel that extreme hunger, that sometimes can trigger a binge. So I got on top of that and I started eating. Even if I wasn't particularly hungry at some points, I would make sure I just ate with that routine, and I made sure I would eat my calorie amount, and it would all be a healthy balanced diet. And I started playing this game of how many vegetables can I get in every meal that I eat, and making sure that I had enough protein, making sure that I still ate carbs, stuff like potatoes, and still eat pasta and rice and bread and everything that I previously would have restricted. I made sure I just had balanced amounts of. So I have, and still have now, a healthy balanced diet that's 80% healthy whole good foods, and then 20% stuff like chocolate and donuts and the things that everybody tells you not to eat but are really good. And they are the kind of binge foods that I would have had previously. To begin with, what I had to do was remove the binge foods entirely from my house, and I think a lot of people do that out of panic because they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna binge, but it's kind of a really short-term long-term solution, because you will have times where you go out to the shop and then you buy 5 packs of chocolate and eat them all in the car, because I did that. So I realised very quickly that after having removed everything from the house, I needed to start to reintroduce things that could either replace those foods but were in like smaller portion sizes, or that tasted very similar. So for instance, I love chocolate bars and I could smash 5 chocolate bars in one go. I find chocolate bars very hard to stop eating. I find it difficult to have a pack of chocolate bars in the house, but we can do that nowadays, and I won't eat the whole pack because I have recovered from binge eating. But what I found was really helpful is to get some protein bars, and I eat a lot of Battle Bites bars. I'll put a link down in the description. I'm not sponsored, they're just my favourite protein bar because they basically taste like chocolate bars, but because of their high protein content, it's really difficult to binge on them. So I basically I can't binge on them because they're really filling, and they're so sweet and so nice. And they do like donut flavour and birthday cake flavour and Mississippi mud pie, which is like triple chocolate. I don't miss chocolate bars that much, and I do have chocolate bars occasionally if I want them, but I don't tend to need to buy them because I have these protein bars in the house now. What I did was reintroduce binge foods in smaller portions, or alternatives that I felt like I could add back in. So I will have like low calorie ice cream because I don't feel so sick and so bloated if I eat the whole pint, but I will do if I eat a whole tub of Ben & Jerry's. But it's totally fine if I want to have Ben & Jerry's. I don't massively feel like I need it as much anymore. If I want cake, I'll eat cake. If I want to buy anything that I want to in the supermarkets, I can. I tend to buy desserts that are in portion sizes so that I don't go overboard. And again, it's about having that food routine. So in the evening I have a main meal, and then I do have a dessert, and I have a dessert after every single meal that I have in the evening. So usually it will be something like a yogurt, like one of those split pot corners that have got the chocolate bits in, they're so good. Or I have like a Fuel 10K muffin, which is like a chocolate cake, and then you can put like some chocolate sauce on top of it and some ice cream, whatever you want. So it doesn't feel like I'm restricting the foods that I would normally binge on. It would always be like dessert based food. And also I got some like healthy alternatives to other foods that I would binge, like KFC or like takeaways. I learned how to make recipes that I could have that would fit into my regular calorie amount midweek, so that I don't feel like I get to the weekend and I'm like, oh, I need to eat loads of food, because I've already had the like fried chicken that tastes just as good in the middle of the week. And you can get like bags of breaded chicken where the calories aren't really that high. I get like the hot and spicy ones from Aldi, and they're breaded and it tastes so good. I feel like I don't really need the massive bucket of greasy KFC anymore, because I've got alternatives that I can have whenever I want. So why should I spend huge amounts of money on a large bucket of chicken? I just don't have that massive craving for it anymore. But again, if I ever want it, I can have it. It's just I don't, because I'm not binge eating, because I'm not emotionally eating, I don't feel like I need it really. So that's basically what I did. I worked out why I was emotionally eating and tried to deal with the emotions and deal with the stressful situations that were causing me to binge eat. And I stopped doing fad diets. And if you still want to lose weight, there are ways that you can lose weight and not do a fad diet, which is basic nutrition. So looking up your calorie deficit, not restricting too low, and making sure you eat a healthy balanced diet that's not restrictive of any food groups or any particular foods. We don't label foods as good and bad, just eat what you want, but in a healthy balanced diet. I did that, reintroduced all of the foods that I would previously binge on, but in this new routine that I have, so that I feel like I'm never restricted, never missing anything, but still feeling healthy. And I also started to recognise how I felt when I ate foods that were previous binge foods. So if I have huge amounts of chocolate, I do tend to feel really sick. And also if I have sugar now, because sugar isn't a large part of my diet, if I have a whole bag of sweets, I get the worst headache in the world and I start to feel really rough. And again, that's part of the reason why I stopped drinking alcohol, because I stopped drinking it so often that eventually I didn't want it anymore because I hated how it made me feel. Yeah, it's being wary of that. That's just the way that I stopped binge eating. Obviously it might be different for you. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any other tips for people, anything that helped you stop binge eating. I know tracking your food might not be easy for a lot of other people, but I found that it just gave me this accountability that I could scan it all into my Fitness Pal, and I could see all the food that I was going to have in the day, and I could plan the food that I was going to have in the evening. So if I felt any cravings for food that I previously wouldn't have eaten, I knew that I was going to have it later on anyway. So yeah, I found it really helped me. I know it might not help you, but you never know until you try it, really. And I think we're all capable of being aware of our own emotions, and if something gets too obsessive for somebody, then you can stop. But for me, it never got too obsessive, and I made sure I kept an eye on it. I made sure that I was aware of what I was doing and that I didn't allow any unhealthy behaviours to creep in. So yeah, I hope that's helped. I really hope that there are some tips there that might help you out, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. Yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.
I was made for this. Yeah, yeah. I was made for this. I was made for this. Face it, greatness is in my genetics. Rely on me, you never regret it. Victory's mine, yeah, that's where I'm headed.